Why can't we put metal rods in horses' legs when they break? You can. It's totally possible. It's seen as cruel though. A horse doesn't understand and won't stay off it long enough for it to heal properly. So you're talking about a lot of pain. With people you can explain it to them. They can lay up for a while. They can do through painful recovery knowing that it'll be worth it in the end. A horse understands none of that. It'll walk on the leg before it's ready and possibly injure it. It will also refuse to do rehabilitation because it's painful. The three issues that I see. Horses generally don't do great under anesthesia, older horses more so. They may survive a major surgery but it generally weakens them physically so much that their quality length of life may be impacted post-surgery. Horses also need to be able to stand and walk to keep proper blood flow through the legs. There is a pad on the bottom of the foot called a frog. It acts like a pump every time they move or shift weight. So even if you could somehow keep a horse sedated on its side long enough to allow the leg to start to heal, you would need some sort of machine to work the legs to keep healthy blood flow. Plus you have all the other issues that come with long-term sedation. How do you transport a horse that's been injured in such a way? It's a 800+ pound animal, and it's likely not walking into a trailer, and if it makes it into the trailer it would be impossible to get it to lay down for any length of time. I had a cat who was attacked by a dog. Her back left leg had to be amputated. She would not rest and eventually she caused more damage to the tissue and herself. She had to be put down to prevent further suffering, bless her. Animals can be repaired like humans, but animals don't understand to be still and rest while they heal, even if you bring them food, water, and carry them to and from their designated potty area. Bigger animals are worse. Below the knee, they get very poor circulation. A small fracture can heal, but they'll be on stall rest for an extended period of time. It might be enough to force a working horse into retirement. A full break simply won't heal. It would mend much slower than one of your limbs, and a horse can't stay off of its legs for that long. We kept a mare who snapped her hind leg in a sling in a stall for about a month, try and keep her immobile while her leg healed. She eventually just went insane, had to put her down. You try everything and it's not a question of expense. People will spend what it takes, but the humane thing is to put them down. A big part of it is how a horse's circulatory system works. They need to keep their legs moving to stop blood pooling in them, which is impossible while a serious break is healing. You technically can, but it's basically just incredibly difficult to keep a horse immobile for the length of time it would take for an injury like that to heal without causing them significant other health issues. The main challenge with putting metal rods in the horse's leg after a break is the sheer weight and structure of the animal. Unlike humans, horses rely heavily on their legs for balance, movement, and support. Adding metal rods could potentially disrupt the delicate balance and natural movement of the horse, leading to complications like lameness or further injury. Additionally, the forces exerted on a horse's legs during movement are far greater than those experienced by humans, making it more difficult for surgical interventions to be successful. While advances in veterinary medicine continue to explore new treatments, the complexities of repairing a horse's leg remain a significant hurdle to overcome. Horses are biologically designed for movement. While you can immobilize them long enough for a bone to heal, it very often causes secondary issues like colic, laminitis, stomach ulcers, and undue stress. Unless it's a small break or a non-load-bearing bone, it's often more ethical to the animal to euthanize as opposed to putting them through a long, painful, and psychologically miserable recovery. Their diaphragms aren't as strong because they use the mass of their organs to inhale and exhale. They are super prone to getting pneumonia and often don't recover. Horses need to ambulate for proper circulation. People can be on their backs for a while to recuperate. Horses just don't work that way. There are some times when a horse can have surgery, and perhaps have rod screws inserted, depending on the break, but there are also breaks that likely wouldn't heal properly. There's also the possibility that the surgery could cause other problems. Laminitis, I'm looking at you, you horrible condition. Source: servant to an OTTB mayor who I love more than I ever expected. Probably because horses are seen as an investment. If it can no longer perform and make the owner money, then they cut their losses. Poor horses are forced to run at full speed carrying a 100-pound human, and when the inevitable occurs, I've seen horses euthanized right on the track. It's disgusting. I think I saw on All Creatures Great and Small that they did save a horse by keeping it in traction for a long-ass time. I choose to believe this is possible, and in my mind no horses ever have to get shot ever again. It's not done because in order to heal a load-bearing bone, you have to keep the load off it. There's no practical or humane way to stop a horse from trying to stand or allowing it to stand without weight bearing on the broken limb. Basically, a horse that can't stand can't live. They look magnificent, but they're actually very fragile. Blood doesn't pump through a horse's legs unless the horse is up and moving. Also, a horse can't lie down for very long because if it does, its weight will crush it. They can take naps laying down, but they're never for very long. Much of the time they take cat naps on their feet. Horse naps. So when any part of its leg is broken, there's no way the horse can lie down for the weeks it takes to heal, and there's no way to let it walk around so the blood will circulate. So they're doomed. Because it's super painful and won't heal right, it doesn't work. I've never heard a horse's leg break and never want to, but I've talked to vets who have, and they say it's literally like a gunshot and it's completely unmistakable. Even Barbaro wasn't able to be saved and his owners wrote literally the best equine vets a blank check. For whatever reason, horses are professionals at getting injured, and when I do, it's very often very serious and very expensive.